All right, some really big names are getting ready to hit the court today at the U.S. Open.
That's right. Fox-5's Tina Cervasio is live now from the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, Queens. You keep changing locations, T.
She's good. She's good.
I love it. I found some shade here, got the grandstand and courts 4, 5, 6 behind me. And let me tell you something about the tennis center at this 50th anniversary of the U.S. Open. They have been setting attendance records each and every day. It started on day one when 67,000 people walked through the gates. The records keep going up, and on Saturday, 71,000 came through the gates, setting another single-day record. Over 472,000 people have already come to the U.S. Open on these grounds here at Flushing Meadows, Queens. And there's still 7 days to go. So let's talk about the action that will happen over the next 7 days. I bring in tennis writer Adam Zagoria, who writes for Metro New York, as well as Zag's blogs, where you can catch him online. And Adam, you've covered the U.S. Open for 15 years now. This one's been exciting and very intriguing. Let's start with the defending champion on the women's side, Sloane Stephens, winning yesterday, getting into the quarterfinals. What have you thought of her play so far?
Well, you know, last year, Tina, Sloane kind of came out of nowhere to win the Open. At one point, she was ranked 934 in the world. Now she's the defending champ. She's kind of the favorite because she's the highest remaining seed at number 3. She's looked pretty good, and she could be headed for a semifinal collision with Serena Williams on Thursday.
That's incredible. So Sloane looked very strong, and so did Serena, but she did get pushed to 3 sets yesterday. When you saw how well she played at Wimbledon and then struggled in the finals, what are your thoughts at her play now in the early rounds?
Well, look, we have to remember that Serena Williams is going to turn 37 years old this month. She's coming off having a baby a year ago for which she had a C-section. She then got to the Wimbledon final, and she's now, you know, essentially the favorite or co-favorite here. So it's incredible how she's come back. She's trying to make history, trying to win her 24th career major, which would tie her with Margaret Court and then eventually pass Margaret Court.
You know, that's what's interesting. I think people forget that not only did she have the baby, but she had so many complications after that. Strength-wise, what do you see in her serve and the way that she's had to endure through the longer sets yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, look, Serena's got the biggest serve on the women's tour. She's got among, you know, the most powerful ground strokes, and she's really the fiercest competitor, as we see in these Nike and Chase ads now. So I think she'll be the favorite in any match, although a Sloane Stephens Serena Williams semifinal would really be epic.
Oh, could you imagine the crowds here that night? All right, let's keep talking about these Americans, and I think that's what excites me, Adam. John Isner on the men's side. He seems very composed at this U.S. Open. What's different about him?
He's got a lot going on. His wife, Maddie, is due with their first child September 22nd, Tina, so he says he feels more balanced.
Yes, Janet Sukanya, we're going to continue my conversation with tennis writer Adam Zagoria, who covers the U.S. Open now for 15 years. He writes for Metro New York as well as Zag's blogs. And Adam, today, some interesting matches on the men's side. We've seen both Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic ease through their opponents. They're sort of heading towards each other. How is this setting up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough draw for Roger Federer. He hasn't won this tournament in 10 years. He appears to be headed for a quarterfinal collision with Novak Djokovic on, that would be Wednesday night. Novak beat Roger the last time they played in the Cincinnati final about 2 weeks ago. But the potential does remain here for a Federer-Nadal final, Tina, which they've never met at the U.S. Open. They've met at every other Grand Slam. So Rafa's on the other half of the draw. He could play Del Potro in the semis. And, you know, if you're hoping for a Federer-Nadal final, it could still happen.
That's incredible. And, of course, Nadal would be defending his title. What have been your thoughts? He had a long match on Friday night, but what have you thought of his play overall?
About Rafa?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's the defending champ. He's got the easier half of the draw because he doesn't have Federer or Djokovic in his half. He does have to play Dominic Thiem in the next round, who's beaten him 3 times, all on clay. And then he could potentially face Juan Martín Del Potro, the huge hitting Argentine, in the semis. So that could get interesting. But again, you could have a Nadal-Djokovic final or a Nadal-Federer final here.
Oh, either one is so thrilling. That's this whole, it's so much intrigue. Now, coming in, we saw to this segment right here, we saw a shot of Louis Armstrong Stadium. Very interesting statistic about the brand new Louis Armstrong Stadium. 4 out of the 5 top women's seeds have been eliminated and upset on that court. What are you seeing happening there? Is there any reason behind that?
First of all, it's a great court. I think the fans like it. It's got good sight lines. It's cozy, but the top women don't love it. You know, Sloane Stephens is the only one in the top 5 left. The other top 4 have been eliminated. John Isner on the men's side loves that court. He was out there yesterday yesterday winning, and the fans were rooting for him. So it's been bad luck for the ladies, not so much for all the men.
Yeah, I saw Angelique Kerber on Saturday fall as well. Kevin Anderson lost last night as well. You know, we're talking about a lot of the top women eliminated, a lot of the top men still there. I mean, who else do you think could be a dark horse in this? You talked about Del Potro earlier. Anyone else that could upset?
Yeah, I mean, I think the chances are that one of the big three, again, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, Tina, have combined to win 50 Grand Slam titles. They're, you know, if not the three greatest players of all time, they're in the conversation among that group. So one of them is probably going to win it, although Marin Cilic, who won in 2014, and Del Potro in 2009 would be your other contenders.
Still 7 days of exciting tennis to go. Adam, thank you so much for joining me this morning. We are live at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. Sukanya Jen, back to you.
What an amazing handbook right there. You gave me like a complete cheat sheet. Now I can have conversations with people. I appreciate that, T. Thank you.
We sound smart now.
Yes, exactly.